Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is still Good Morning Kenya. My name is Jane Wambui. Glad you are still with us to continue with this conversation that we are having all about the EACC, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, understanding what their role is and how you as a Kenyan can be part of that conversation. We have in studio with us this morning John Lolkoloi, who is the Deputy Director of Forensic Investigations at the EACC. Now, when it comes to the investigation process, this is somewhere that very many Kenyans do not understand. We only know the movie perspective.
Yes.
We want things done quick, fast from what we see.
Yes.
But just from the time a case has been reported, kindly take us through what is involved up until you get to the place where you say we have closed this case.
Thank you very much. That's a very, very good question, because I know most times Kenyans ask, why are these cases taking long to conclude? So to answer that question, the first step is we receive a report about an allegation of corruption or economic crimes, and the first thing we do is we analyze and establish if it falls within our mandate.
Okay.
If it doesn't, we refer to other institutions, but if it is within our mandate, then we allocate it for investigation.
Okay.
Now, investigation is a very, very methodical process. It has to be done with a lot of precision, because like I said before, forensic investigation by definition is that you have to collect evidence to be adduced in a court of law. And the courts of law will accept evidence that has been collected in accordance with the law. So what we do is, for example, if we get an information that there is corruption at organization A, maybe it's even in the newspaper, that 200 million has been stolen. The first thing we do is we have to requisition documents from that institution in respect of that transaction that has been reported. We have to analyze those documents, which basically will involve, say, payment vouchers, procurement documents, bank statements, approvals if they were there. And once we get those documents, we analyze them to actually find out what happened, who did it, and how was it done, and what evidence is there. Now, once we have analyzed those documents, because our product is geared towards the court of law, we have now to invite people from that organization for what we call interview and statement recording. So we have to call them, if it is the accountants, if it's the managers, if it's the procurement staff, if it is the suppliers who are involved.
Yes.
So we invite them and ask them questions and put down their explanations. And there are other processes that we have to get information from outside. If it is the bank statements, as a commission, we cannot just walk to a bank and tell them we want these bank statements. The law provides a mechanism in which you can get bank records. You have to go before a magistrate and convince that magistrate that we are investigating this transaction and there is reasonable cause that corruption has happened. So these are our grounds, and we pray that you will give us orders to serve to the bank. If the magistrate is convinced, they will give us those orders and we serve to the bank. Once we serve to the bank now will have to go into their archives, because some of them are transactions that happened, say, 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
They avail those documents for our analysis. You have to get, say, records from the registrar of companies about directorships. You have to get, say, other records from lands. You have to get records basically from different organizations. So once you have that evidence, the bank statement, what you have collected from that organization, we also have other specialized tasks, like if signatures or handwritings are in contention. We have a forensic lab. Those have to be subjected to examination, so that if it's said this is the signature of so and so. So once we have the whole of that evidence, now we prepare a case file and a report. And we have a legal department. As investigators, we will say this is the report, these are our recommendations, we work together, and then we say now from these investigations, our findings are that this is what has happened, these are the people who are involved, and these are the recommendations that we need to charge these people. Immediately after that, the file goes to the Director of Public Prosecutions. That is another independent office.
Yes.
They will look at our files, our recommendations, and if they are convinced then they will give the consent for the case to go to court. If they are not, they will return the file to us and say, we believe that you need to cover ABCD, so that once we go to court, then we know we have a cogent case. And now again, once the case goes to court, another process starts, because it has to go to an impartial arbiter, that is the judiciary. So the case goes to the magistrate, and then suspects take plea, and then hearing dates are set. And this is why it takes long, because even those magistrates are handling multiple cases. You can have a case with 50 witnesses. So the magistrate will look at their diary and say, these people have taken plea today, 18th of November. According to my diary, the next available dates are in January. So they will set the dates in January, and probably that day they will only be able to hear 2 witnesses, because
out
again,
of the 50 that you
out of the 50, because again, those witnesses that you recorded statements have to come to court. They have to come and now give their explanations that this is where I work, this is what happened, I handled these payment transactions, I made this payment. Then the people we have taken to court also have lawyers. We call them the defense lawyers, the ones who defend them. They will also ask questions. So it takes quite some time basically to conclude a case, but I want to say that there is improvement, because the organizations are working closely. We work closely with the ODPP, and the judiciary is also fast-tracking those cases. So they start entire process, and it's important because sometimes Kenyans, we believe, and you know, confusingly so, that if something is in the newspaper that somebody has stolen these funds, why are they not being taken to court?
Now,
the reason is today they want the person to be investigated today, arraigned in court in the midday, and sentenced in the afternoon. Now, because of the process that I've explained, which is the due process of the law, that cannot happen.
It cannot happen.
And the law, in as much as we know that the law is there to punish, it is also to protect, to ensure that the due process of the law is followed.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
Now, just looking at that whole chain, and this is casing example, just one case, and now considering there's multiple other cases that you know you get to handle as a commission, what would you say have been the long-standing challenges that you face in almost each and every case that you get to deal with as a commission?
Some of the probably challenges, but which we are managing, are those processes that some of them are actually not within your control. As a commission, you have to get evidence from other institutions and other persons. The fact that even just to do the analysis and to schedule, because these are multiple cases running, and even the investigation teams, it's not like they are only running with one case. You can have a team almost running with about 7 or 8 cases. So there are those delays in the processes that we have, the activities that are beyond our control. And also to add that corruption and economic crimes is actually perpetrated by, it's a white collar crime. These are basically intelligent people, and even when they engage in this corruption and economic crimes, they actually know from the beginning that what I'm doing, I'm likely to be caught at some time. So even as they initiate those corrupt transactions or activities, they try to put in mechanisms beforehand to ensure that when this matter is investigated, how will they be able to evade criminal culpability?
A safety net for themselves.
Yes, so those are some of the issues that we really have to do investigation with a lot of precision and with a lot of commitment and taking time so that the product is good.
Now, looking at that, just that example that you have given, you know, that also comes into play, you know, the powers that be and exploiting the loopholes that are there.
Yes.
How then can we be able to go around it as a commission, and also given the help of all these other different entities that have a role to play in this conversation?
Yes, what we do as a commission, I can assure you that we have highly skilled professionals. We have professional accountants, we have lawyers, we have procurement experts, we have career detectives, and we have IT.
Yes.
So in terms of the skills, we have the relevant skills to investigate and basically to be able to get to good conclusions of what has happened because of also the experience. We also work together with other agencies. Like I said, we work closely with the ODPP because they are the ones that will basically prosecute these cases. They are the ones who know the challenges they go on day to day, so they are able to inform us, you know, to input into our processes that for this product to be good, this is what we do. Now, in addition, what we also do is to educate we educate agencies, we educate public officials to tell them that these are the loopholes, and therefore these are the things that you need to do so that this corruption does not happen.
Now, you have mentioned that you also work very closely with other agencies, rightfully so as a commission. I just want us to have a quick conversation around that and how that operates. Looking at these other different agencies, how you work together and how far your mandate stretches, how you get to involve them, and the back and forth that is involved there.
Yes. Currently, you remember in around 2015, as law enforcement agencies, we started working together in an umbrella called the multi-agency team, which comprises agencies like my employer, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. We have the ODPP, we have the DCI, we have the Asset Recovery Agency, and also at times we also involve the Kenya Revenue Authority.
Yes.
Because we want to attack corruption from all fronts.
All angles.
If we find you culpable, we take you to court, we recover the assets. If there are taxes that you have not paid, we also invite EACC to recover those taxes. So we basically work together to ensure that we achieve a common objective.
Yes.
So there's a good understanding and a good synergy between these institutions, because we serve the same government and we serve the same public.
Yes.
Yes.
Now therein comes the common mwananchi.
Yes.
What role do they play in all this, and how do you feel they what more can this common citizen play when it comes to helping you as a commission fulfill on your responsibilities, as well as also considering these other agencies?
Very, very important question. I will give about a few proposals.
Sure.
The first one is we want to tell the citizens and the public, the first thing is do not engage in corruption. You start by raining on yourself.
Yes.
Because it will not be proper if you are complaining about corruption and you are also engaging in it. So do not engage in corruption, economic crime, or bribery. That's number one. Number two, we invite them to report all forms of corruption and economic crimes that come into their knowledge. And we want to appreciate them, because some of them good cases that we have investigated successfully and gotten convictions is because we got those reports from the wananchi, because they are the ones who actually know what has happened. EACC may not be able to police everywhere, every village, every organization.
Yes.
But there are those good citizens who will say, this is what has happened, this is the amount, so and so is involved, so that by the time we move to investigate, about 30 to 40% of our work has been done. So we also want to encourage them and to thank them for reporting corruption. Number three, we want to ask them not to accept to be conduits of corruption, because that is also now what we are seeing. Do not allow yourself to be conduit of corruption or to facilitate corrupt schemes. We get allegations, and basically after investigation we establish it's true. An innocent person has been invited to be a director of a company, and they just agree. Probably they do not even know what that company does or what it will end up doing at some point. So when the matter is under investigation, as a routine, the first thing we'll need to do is, who are the directors of this company from the registrar of companies? Then we get somebody who is completely clueless of what happened. So we also want to ask them to be vigilant so that they don't get used by corrupt people to enter into their schemes. When I talk about being also facilitators, and I want to address the professionals.
Yes.
We have the accountants, we have the lawyers, we have the engineers, or valuers. You are called to value, say, a piece of land because the government wants to acquire it for some public good. This property probably is 20 million, and then you return a value of 200 million or 300 million so that the government can be defrauded. We also want to ask professionals to abide by their ethics and their code of duty so that they do not facilitate. So in terms of reporting, do not engage, do not be conduits, and do not facilitate corruption to happen.
In any way possible. Now, looking at how the mechanisms that you've put in place for the reporting of these corruption cases, maybe you could tell us a bit about how they are done and how also you ensure the safety of those individuals who bring themselves forward to report these corruption cases, because you get some where maybe somebody could have been party or has information about a certain case, but they fear for their life. How then do you ensure the safety of the person who has reported the case throughout the entire process?
Yes, we have various forms of reporting corruption. We even have an anonymous reporting platform. And we also have a report center at Integrity Center. When you come to report corruption or an economic crime, you are at liberty to, if you feel that you don't want to disclose your identity, you just come and say, this is what has happened, and I do not want to be associated with this because it may have security considerations or concerns. So there is that opportunity that you can come and report and say you don't want to be known. You can also do it anonymously. You can also write a letter and even not indicate who you are, as long as you give us details of what is it that you are reporting, when did it happen, where and how, which organization, so that when we move in, then we are able to move and investigate that matter. When you visit the commission, there are many other means in which you can guide, probably on the safety, so that if, for example, it is known that you are the one who reported this matter, there are certain safeguards that we can put to ensure that you are protected.
All right.
Yes.
Now, many a times when we hear the EAC being mentioned, we always know grand cases, but always want to know, iliendaje ikafika wapi, did you get a conviction? And the commission has faced its fair share of criticism from the public because, you know, they want cases now that have been closed now and now. But looking at the success cases that you have had, maybe you could just tell us a bit about that to let the people know that, you know what, there are cases that have been attended to and you actually closed them.
Yes, there are several cases that we have investigated. They have been prosecuted by the ODPP.
Yes.
And let me mention this, that because sometimes it's not understood, EACC plays a crucial role in the prosecution of cases in this manner, that we are the ones who avail the evidence to the prosecutor. We are the ones who avail witnesses to come and give evidence in court, and our investigating officers are actually the most credible witnesses, because they are the ones who come and say, this is what I investigated, these were the findings, and this is a justification of my recommendations. So we work closely. So there are cases that we have completed, gotten convictions. I may not mention them by name, but recent ones involving members of a member of parliament. We have some for managing directors of corporations. We have principal secretaries who have been convicted. We have county executives who have been convicted. We have senior national government officials who have also been convicted, and that information is actually in our website, in our annual reports on the people who have been convicted. That information is there, and actually for the last 1 year or 1.5 years, the conviction rate has actually increased to about 60% because of the, you know, the thorough investigation, closer working relationship with the ODPP. So it has increased, and that data of convictions is there.
All right.
Yes.
Now, in terms of also keeping up awareness of the role of the EACC and making sure that you're also encouraging the public to keep coming forward with these cases as and when they receive them, what are you doing as a commission just ensure that information is no longer a problem and you're keeping the public aware and in touch with what you're doing?
So we have public awareness programs that we are undertaking, actually from different media houses, where we are able to share the information. We have training forums which we undertake with government agencies, and we also, in other organizations, we train what we call the integrity assurance officers.
Yes.
And basically we are now more visible, and we keep on even in our social media, we inform the public of what we are doing, and we invite them to share their thoughts on what we can do and to give us reports.
All right.
Yes.
So remember, this is all about a learning lesson as to regards as to what the EACC does as a commission in line with their mandate in the Constitution. And we welcome your questions and comments in regards to this particular conversation. And just to sample some of what we have received so far, on Twitter we have Kelly who's asking, when it comes to offering state protection, is this guaranteed for common mwananchi, ama do you always need to have connection when you don't want to be known? in the issue of reporting? Let's say, from what I'm understanding, when
Yes.
they report a case
Yes.
and they fear for their lives,
Yes.
come on Mwananchi,
Yes.
can they be offered protection?
Yes.
Or do they need, to have connections?
No, they don't need to have any connections. What we do is we just do the assessment, and because we also work with other government agencies, we make the recommendations based on that case. But it doesn't mean that because you are connected, it's available to all.
Available to all Kenyans.
Yes.
Let me get this other one from Tony, who's asking, as a commission, how are you working to bring down the language barriers when it comes to reporting to make it accessible to all Kenyans in terms of communication and language barriers? Maybe someone somewhere kwa mashinani
Yes.
anataka kuripoti kitu, but they're not able to properly communicate with the commission or know where to go to start with.
Yes. Apart from our regional offices, we have regional offices, about 11 of them. We have offices in Malindi, Mombasa, Garissa, Nyeri, Isiolo. We have Kisumu, Eldoret, Nakuru, and even Machakos, apart from the Integrity Center.
Yes.
We also have 50 Huduma centers. So we have our clerks at Huduma centers, and what we have done as a commission is, as a deliberate effort,
Yes.
we have ensured that as much as possible, we recruit those Huduma clerks from the areas that they come from, so that they are able to get those reports. And basically also as a commission, in terms of the employees for the commission, we represent there is representation of the face of Kenya. So if you come and you think that you are not able to report in a certain language, chances are more than 90% will be able to get somebody to take the report in the language that you are comfortable
in.
Yes.
All right. Karemi is asking, kindly go over the kind of cases that you had mentioned you attend to as the commission. You had touched on the kind of cases that you get to attend to as a commission,
Yes.
but I guess she probably wasn't there during that particular segment, but maybe just for the benefit of our viewer, you could go through that again.
Yes, so cases that we handle, we have reports of abuse of office, and abuse of office basically is when there is improper, when you confer improper benefits to others.
Yes.
We deal with cases of procurement irregularities, bid rigging, conflict of interest. We deal with cases of failure to pay taxes. We deal with cases of fraud. We deal with cases of payments made from government,
Yes.
for goods not delivered or services not rendered. Those are some of the cases that we deal with.
Okay.
They are specified in the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act that these are the corruption offenses. So those are the ones that we deal.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Now there's also Isaac who's asking, in line with your responsibility, who do you report to? Who keeps you accountable as a commission?
Yeah, as a commission, we first of all we have commissioners, and the commissioners for EACC. Their role is to provide strategic direction, maintain linkages, and also basically to oversight staff. And we have a secretariat headed by the CEO. But as a commission, we also, first of all, our reporting is to the public. So whatever we do, we through Parliament, we publish our quarterly reports, we publish our annual reports. Then there is also the Parliamentary Committee, Justice Legal Affairs Committee. That is also the committee in terms of departments that also oversights the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, as we are almost nearing the tail end of this particular conversation, as a commission, what are some of those projects that you're, or rather the goals that you're set in place in terms of achievements and visions as a commission as we go forward? So,
there are the issues of the strategic focus, which we had mentioned, going forward, because we get numerous reports. So we focus on high impact investigations, and had set the criteria that we look at the amounts involved, the deterrence effect, the profile of the person. We want to focus on that, so that today, if there is a report, something that has been reported has happened, we subject it to that, and we take it up. The other focus is that we want to continuously recover assets, public property, funds, or land, or buildings for governments that have been corruptly acquired, so that we can reinstate it to the owners or to the state, so that we discourage. The moment we take away the motive, then we believe that others will also see so and so had done this, and this property has been taken back, he has been arraigned in court, and he has actually even been suspended or dismissed from service. And then we continuously also want to engage the public so that we can get information from them, and also ask them to monitor, for example, what is happening, and give it to us so that we can create the impact.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to your message to the greater public, in regards to their role in the efforts to prevent corruption as a whole, it is something that we're hoping to bring to an end as a country.
Yes.
What would you like to tell Kenyans this morning?
What I want to tell Kenyans, like today we are discussing about the issues of public finance. And at times, corruption is seen as an indirect offense, that as a citizen or as a person, I don't feel like it is my property that has been taken away. So what we want to tell Kenyans is that when you hear those cases of theft or stealing of public funds and embezzlement, those are your funds. Those are the taxes that you pay. And it's important that we all internalize and own up the war on corruption. Because if we are able to, as a country, stop the wastage of public funds, stop the embezzlement of these public funds, public officials ensuring that government gets value for its money, that you don't purchase goods at exaggerated prices, because the laws are there. The law will tell you you need to purchase within prevailing market prices.
Yes.
But when you go to purchase items, or maybe 10 times, so we want everybody to know that these are funds that belong to us, and if we can stop this wastage, then we are able to put those funds into projects that will be able to help and assist all of us.
All right.
Yes.
Now, there's one tweet here by Arnold who's asking, how then do we ensure that those people who get prosecuted for these grand scandals, yes, they get incarcerated, but eventually end up getting in positions where they can do the same crimes again? How do you ensure that this is not repeated?
We have a safeguard, and we want to pass this message to all institutions that recruit, that as currently provided, before these officials are appointed, they're supposed to get clearance from EACC. So at the time of application, they're supposed to get those clearances, and once they come to us, we go to our database, just like the DCI will go for the certificate of good conduct.
Yes.
So if we find that so-and-so was convicted of a corruption offense, we are able to report to that agency that this person should not be recruited. But there are instances where people have violated these provisions. There are organizations, and we want to tell them to stop. They go on to recruit people without those clearances, and then we get information that somebody we charged in County A and is actually facing a criminal offense has been employed in County B.
Yes.
So we want to warn them that once this information comes to our knowledge, because it has come, we'll hold them accountable, and we'll ensure that those people do not continue to serve as long as they have not been cleared. And actually the provisions under Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, once you are convicted of corruption and your appeal opportunities have lapsed, you are not supposed to hold public office for 10 years. Yes, with effect from the date of conviction.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, Paulina is asking how efficient has been the asset recovery process. We never get to hear or get reports of how that has turned out.
Probably the information has not reached her or some people. Some of the assets that we have recovered recently, I can just mention.
Yes.
We recovered the University of Nairobi land at Hurlingham, worth about 2 billion. We recovered land belonging to Carlo, the former Kari in Naivasha, worth about 8.3 billion. We have also recovered land belonging to the Meteorological Department, which is also about 8 billion. There are several properties. Then we have cases that are currently proceeding in court for the recovery of assets. Like I earlier mentioned about unexplained assets.
Yes.
We have some officials, I can mention two, who have accumulated wealth. One has about 600 million. The case is before court. Another one has almost another 318 million. And these are people that it will take maybe 100, if not 1,000 of years for their salary or their known sources of income to reach those amounts.
To allow such.
So it It is effective, but we always say that there is room for improvement.
There's always room for improvement, and I believe all this information is on the website?
Yes, it is. It is in the website. It is in the annual reports. If you go to eacc.go.ke and you go to the reports, you will be able to get all the annual reports. And in our annual reports, we highlight what we have done in terms of investigations, in terms of prevention, in terms of asset recovery, assets recovered. All that information is there, and we even highlight major cases that are before court.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you are looking for more information in regards to how the EACC operates, or you want to get to know the success stories, if you have interest in anyone, you can always check out their website to understand how far it has come, the figures involved, and the assets that have been recovered during that process. We do hope this has been a learning experience for you as much as it has been for us, just trying to understand the mandate of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, your role as a citizen when it comes to the fight against corruption, and what more we need to do as a people to keep this fight going, also looking at the different agencies that are involved in this conversation. We have been speaking with John Lolkoloi, who is the Deputy Director in charge of Forensic Investigations at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Pleasure.
We wish you the absolute best.
Thank you.
Maybe in closing,
yes,
your message to Kenyans, again, in line with helping you stay true to what you are doing.
Yes, our message is let us work together. The duty of fighting corruption, law enforcement agencies are spearheading it, but we need the support of all Kenyans.
Yes.
We need the support of all stakeholders, including NGOs, religious organizations, and also the media. You are doing a good job, so we just need to work together and ensure that we get success.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us. We wish you the absolute best as you continue with your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
We take a breather, but we are not yet done with Good Morning Kenya. Do stay with us.